Good morning. Welcome, everyone, to IRX, Evolution of E-commerce panel discussion. My name is Christina Succurro, and I'm a creative strategist with CoinPayments. It is a great pleasure to both moderate this panel and welcome you to IRX. But before we get started, I would like to introduce you to each one of the panelists. We have from CoinPayments, the global leader in crypto payment processing, Sean Mackay. From Coinmotion, we have Aleksi. And from Lode.one, Toews. An era characterized by its disruptive technologies, the fourth industrial revolution marks incredible advances in the world of technology in many different fields, AI, VR, blockchain, but specifically e-commerce, and that's just to name a few. This revolution has helped billions of people connect through the World Wide Web and drastically improve the efficiency of businesses and organizations while fundamentally changing the way we live, interact, and shop. Since the introduction of blockchain, several sectors have evolved to employ its technology, and today's panel believes that cryptocurrencies are the future. I would like to get started with Sean, and I would like to ask you, Sean, exactly sorry, my questions. Why exactly would an e-commerce business want to accept cryptocurrencies?
Sure. There's numerous benefits to accepting cryptocurrency payments as an e-commerce retailer. The very first one is that it's cheaper. The fees are quite a bit lower. I like to give this example that happened a few months ago where a person transferred $194 million across the world for 10 cents. And there's no way that you're going to do that through a bank these days. It's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars, and that was settled in minutes versus days through banks. There's plenty of other reasons as well, including like no chargebacks and less fraud, and that's all because of the quick settlement times, as well as you're opening up to a market of cryptocurrency holders, millions of them that are looking for somewhere to spend their cryptocurrencies. And also, it's because of the digital currency, it's very borderless as well. So you can sell to anybody in any part of the world. Doesn't matter what bank they're part of. Doesn't matter what bank you're part of. Banks don't have anything to do with it. Any comments?
Yes,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, Sean. And also, I'd like to add that it's very, very cheap to adopt. It doesn't take much money to get start accepting cryptocurrency payments. So it's really not a big hassle, especially if you get to know beforehand what it requires.
And further to your point, Christina, cryptocurrency and digital mediums of exchange is not really a new idea. This isn't a fad at the moment. It's actually the first opportunity or the first presentation of digital currencies was actually made over 50 years ago. So we're in an era now, like you had pointed out, where the internet, we'll call it 3.0, is being constructed right in front of you, and the money of the future is also being constructed right in front of you. I don't have a cryptocurrency background. My background is actually in grocery retail, bricks and mortar retail, and I see tremendous opportunities for early adopters, merchants that want to start the learning process, start the engagement with the money of the future to get a start today. Start watching the videos, get on YouTube, talk to some enablers in your area, and find ways to start interacting with this. You know, the fiat cash world is $244 trillion of debt, and I believe that over the next 20 years or so, all of that money will be on the internet, and that will be likely in the form of cryptocurrency. So this is a great opportunity for a merchant to start embracing these opportunities. This room here today is 30 or 40 people. You guys are early adopters. Come back here next year, the room will be twice as big.
It's great. It sounds like, especially from your point of view, being a specialist in brick and mortar retail, we're seeing that there's definitely adoption growing. However, not as fast as we would like it to see, because of course we're still in the infancy stages of blockchain and cryptocurrencies. So there are definitely challenges that merchants are facing when it comes to adoption. What do you guys believe that some of these challenges are, and how, as a crypto community, are we looking to fix them?
One of the biggest challenges e-commerce sees now is the volatility of cryptocurrencies. And I like to say that it has been dropping all the time. The volatility has gone down much since the early days, and it keeps getting more stable all the time. And also it's less and less of a problem as we see these new systems that can even guarantee exchange rates and lightning payments that are almost instantaneous. The payment can be sent in less than 5 seconds. So if the volatility is continues to be high, it doesn't matter much because the transactions are so fast.
Yeah, further to Aleksi's point there, volatility of the exchange rate, the price of the coins, that definitely is the biggest factor that merchants are worried about. But there are numerous solutions that you can undertake to negate the volatility. For one, you can convert any kind of cryptocurrency payment that's coming in directly into pounds, euros, US dollars, whatever currency you want, in real time. So you prevent any kind of volatility, right? And then if you want to, and that gets deposited into your bank. And if you want to avoid the banks and not deal with like any kind of holdbacks and additional fees and red tape, then you could stay in the cryptocurrency system with a different cryptocurrency called a stable coin, which is essentially one coin pegged to $1 US, and you can convert it that way. And also, Ian over there has an AGX coin, which is pegged to the value of silver. So there's numerous different ways you can convert a cryptocurrency payment, avoid the volatility by pegging it to a different asset, let's call it.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. And further to your point, getting your mind wrapped around what are these cryptocurrencies is really important part of the education process, because there are really, at least 5 distinct vertical channels where you can stack up and put and place the various cryptocurrencies. There's over 1,300 of them, but not all of them will serve your purpose as a merchant or a retailer. Some of them are clearly investments. Some of them are user experience technology companies that are providing a way to improve the user experience that you might need in order to power the use of your cryptocurrencies, and you might not want to accept those as money. So not all cryptocurrencies are structured like money. Some of them are stores of value, like Bitcoin. Some of them are mediums of exchange, like AGX, purposefully constructed to be money on the internet. Some of them are just tech companies, and honestly, some of them are just scams. So knowing the difference, in my view, of how to tell the various 1,300 cryptocurrencies apart from one another is the starting point for a really great experience in using cryptocurrencies on your e-commerce platforms. And that, for me, was a big breakthrough when I discovered that not all of these are money. Only some of them are money.
For sure, it definitely comes down to education, because this is a new technology, much like email and the internet were back in the 90s. I'm sure many of you aren't familiar with how email works, right? But neither am I, for that matter. But I know what it does, and so education. Taking the first step right here.
Helps a lot.
I agree that education is going to be definitely key to mass adoption, and that's why we attend events like these, is to let our audiences know what cryptocurrencies are and what they are about. Sean, earlier you mentioned that when a merchant accepts cryptocurrencies and they want to avoid the volatility, that they could settle into their bank accounts directly for their local currencies, whether it be the pound, the US dollars, or the euro. So if a merchant can do that, essentially. So why don't they just accept fiat? Why don't they just accept regular currencies versus crypto? What benefits does crypto give a merchant? How does it help? How does a merchant benefit from accepting crypto versus a traditional currency?
Sure. Well, I mean, that goes back to the first question of the why accept cryptocurrency. You know, it's cheaper, it's faster, less fraud, there's no chargebacks, because once a payment's made and received, that's it. There's no third parties involved. You're also opening up your market to new cryptocurrency holders, millions of them, and it's also borderless.
And the payment system is really different. In crypto, we crypto people like to talk about private keys that enables access to the wallet. If you compare credit cards to this system, on credit card the private keys include the card number, expiry dates, and CVV number that are on full display on the physical card. In crypto world, that doesn't make any sense, as wallet private keys are never to be exposed to the merchant or anyone else. So it diminishes the possibility to many frauds, and therefore there is no need to have chargebacks.
Just actually to further explain what Aleksi is saying, the way you make a cryptocurrency payment is different. With a credit card, here are my credit card details. I authorize you to go and pull a certain payment off of it. With cryptocurrency, it's like, here's my account number. Please send this much to this account. So now I have to push a payment to the merchant. That's why when they receive it, there's no one to freeze the payment, to do a chargeback. There's no kind of you sent the payment. It's mine now. It's settled.
Yes,
right?
and from the customer's point of view, it also requires less trust towards the e-commerce platform. When you use credit card payments, you need to trust that the information you give the site doesn't get into the wrong hands. But when you pay with cryptocurrencies, you know that the risk is limited to the amount of money you send out, nothing else.
I'll take a risk by saying the following. Cryptocurrency was given to us and presented many, many years ago as an opportunity for us to see that there's another way to conduct commerce and to remove third-party risk and stabilize mediums of exchange. Because fiat money, paper money that is constructed from nothing, is in trouble all over the world. So that's a really good reason to start thinking about crypto, because it won't be very long and there will be another crisis in paper fiat money, which is a debt-based system, and it's so big that the next time that it corrects itself, it's going to be 20 times what we saw in 2008. And so that, for me, is a reason to start looking at cryptocurrencies and integrating them into your life and into your retail platforms, because there just might be a day in your lifetime where that paper money that you rely upon won't be here for you.
Yes, that's a really good point. And I'd like to add that if you feel like cryptocurrencies aren't relevant to you today, I suggest you educate yourself at this point and prepare for it to be the thing of tomorrow.
Yeah, and just to further elaborate on Ian's point, well, first of all, after speaking with a lot of people that don't really know about cryptocurrency, I'd like to tell you that fiat, we use that word a lot, it's a word that crypto people made up. We didn't make it up, but we use it a lot. It just means government currency like pounds or euros, US dollars, fiat. But anyway, to elaborate on Ian's point about not trusting, the fiat system, or it could all blow up, it may not always be the same. Just take a look at, Venezuela and their hyperinflation that they're going through right now, with the government controlling the money, which today is worth something. Tomorrow it's worth half, and like in a month from now, who knows?
And as you mentioned, just continuing on to what you were just talking about, and earlier you also mentioned that cryptocurrencies offer a borderless payment method. And what we're seeing right now in Venezuela is a real mass adoption of cryptocurrencies exactly because of the hyperinflation, which also helps a merchant in turn to tap into an untapped market. An untapped market of 1.7 billion people worldwide that are currently unbanked. That's 1/4 of the world population. And that's some pretty impressive numbers if you think about it. Yeah, and it's not getting any better. I mean, we're seeing this happen not just in Venezuela, but a lot of countries are currently facing embargoes or hyperinflation. That seems to be, cryptocurrency is the currency of the people. And that's why it's growing so fast. That's why we've seen so much growth and adoption. CoinPayments alone has grown tenfold every year since its inception in 2013, processing over 1.5 billion in transactions just last year alone. That's just to show you the growth. And we're seeing this growth specifically in countries where they are lacking the banking infrastructure to allow them to purchase goods and services online. And I am sure here in the audience, you guys deal with a lot of online and retail shopping. So that's something to think about. I'm also noticing that a lot of e-commerce giants are creating loyalty programs. And I realize that loyalty programs can be very successful. They say something like 58% of consumers will choose an e-commerce platform based on the loyalty programs that they offer. And I know that with crypto, we can integrate something of that sort. And I would like to hear from you guys about how do you see that happening, how the framework would look, and if there are any use cases right now, if you have any examples for that.
Yeah, I think loyalty programs are a really good way to educate people that aren't familiar with cryptocurrency and let them know a bit about what it can do, because cryptocurrency is programmable money. Loyalty points are very similar. So, for example, your airline points, your hotel points. If your airline points were a cryptocurrency and they were giving you, points currency for every time you fly with them, every time you spend money. Now, because it's a cryptocurrency, it can be transferred over, it can be sold and bought and sold on an open market. So there's a bit of a price fluctuation. It can be taken off of the airline platform and redeemed, at a hotel platform or at a, any other kind of platform that accepts this coin. And then also, when you get into the programmability aspect, you're also opening up the option of maybe some profit sharing as well, depending on where you are, legalities and all.
And I'd like to continue, Sean, saying that one benefits that using blockchain or cryptocurrencies on loyalty programs is that it's very cost efficient. I know many loyalty programs are very expensive to upkeep and run. And if you use, for example, an existing blockchain for your loyalty program, you can do it very cost efficiently.
Yeah, and I was going to second that point, Aleksi, that inefficiencies in existing loyalty programs can be very costly. And it actually, in the course of my lifetime working with retail, I've seen them come and go because retailers cannot sustain the cost of them, or their partnerships erode and fall apart. But the interesting thing about a cryptographic token that's a loyalty token, it's a very universal, has lots of universal attributes that can be used across the spectrum of retailers, and it actually could end up being also an internal mechanism for a retailer to monetize some assets that they need to use or have access to within their own ecosystem. So they're much more powerful, in my view, for a retailer and a user.
Those are all very great points. That's exactly where I want this question to take you all. If a merchant right now in the audience wanted to begin accepting cryptocurrencies right away, what do you believe the first step and best advice?
My first advice is to educate yourself, because when used correctly, cryptocurrencies only bring benefits and there's no downsides. And the only downsides there are linked to not knowing how to use it. So human mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, if you're asking me, I'm a bit biased. I would say go and start a CoinPayments account, right? But there, or not even CoinPayments. Download a cryptocurrency wallet. A wallet's basically like an account for your cryptocurrency, and play around with it. Send a few transactions out. Learn how to send coins, how to receive coins. It uses QR codes, so it's a little bit different than what you're familiar with, but definitely not. Definitely
Feasible.
Feasible, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
100%. It's a lot simpler than it's been made out to be over the last decade since its inception.
Right. It's just different.
Like you were saying, nobody knows how email works. We just know it does, so we use it, and we're happy with that.
Yeah.
It does exactly what it's supposed to be doing.
I would second that, Sean, and agree with you entirely that one of the things that has prohibited or been a reason why merchants are reluctant to entertain or even engage with cryptocurrencies is the speculative nature, the highs and lows of so many of the crypto assets. And I agree that choosing a service that can help you to integrate with cryptocurrencies and then give you access to stabilized cryptographic assets like the AGX coin, which is stabilized with physical silver behind it. So each token that's in circulation has a gram of silver in a vault that's securing its interest. So it's meant to be a stabilized and secure and low-cost borderless medium of exchange. So using cryptocurrencies that suit your operation, that are custom built, that will work to help you integrate yourself onto the blockchain and start using them daily without having to look over your shoulder and worry that your cryptocurrency may have spiked 22% overnight or dropped 34% the next day. That's the fastest way to make a buck and then lose two. And so stabilized environments using strong platforms like CoinPayments offers to integrate and interact with your customer and your accounting office. Everybody should be happy if you can find the right crypto asset and the right payment gateway. You should be able to accomplish your onboarding quite quickly and then continue your education.
That's right.
Or if you just want to, accept cryptocurrency from your customers but receive euros in your bank account, then there's Coinmotion over here that we're all tied into. You can instantly settle any kind of cryptocurrency payment into euros directly into your bank account, right?
Thank you, Sean. That's right. So we can make automated fiat conversion. So change your Bitcoin that you received in the store to euros or whatever. You can do that automatically, so you don't need any manual work. When the customer pays you with cryptocurrencies, you automatically receive the euros or whatever into your bank account. It's that simple. And please try Coinmotion. It's one of the easiest way to get hold of cryptocurrencies, and you can start with like 10 euros and fiddle with it and get familiar.
It's very important. I mean, and as a merchant, I believe that it could be a little, I would say it would take anyone back. It did to all of us. It could be a bit of not a difficult topic, but when you're not well versed in anything, you tend to feel a bit taken back by it. So I recommend that everyone dabbles into it, whether it's just through Litecoin testnet, which is sort of a way to play with crypto without actually investing or paying anything for it. And it's a good way to get to learn the system, understand how it works. And that's my personal advice, is to, like Sean said, download any crypto wallet and start checking it out. Once you realize how easy it is, you will not go back, I promise. In the meantime, I was hoping somebody in the audience would have some questions for us. If anybody has any questions, please raise your hands. Sure. Microphone's coming right up.
Hi.
Hi.
I don't know if it's a reasonable question, but how many crypto accounts are there in the UK alone? Do you have a sense of how many crypto accounts there are? And also the demographics of who has crypto accounts? Would it typically be younger people, maybe just give us a feel for that. Thanks.
Sure. Well, I don't know if the exact numbers for the UK, but I can tell you that there's over 20 million, 23 million Bitcoin wallets that are out there. So
There are 23 million Bitcoin wallet. Keep in mind that Bitcoin is not the only currency out there. It is, I would say, from my research, there's a few hundred thousand, a couple hundred thousand crypto wallet holders across the world. But I will tell you one statistic that I do know for sure: 1.6 million unbanked working adults in the UK, and that's a number that I think, as a merchant,
I can also tell you that on the CoinPayments platform, we have over 2.5 million users and businesses. I can't really answer specifically for UK at the moment, though.
And our Coinmotion is located in Finland, and we have 55,000 Finnish customers, which is about 1% of the population.
Thank you.
Cheers. Any other questions? Sounds like we did our job then. That's awesome. Wonderful. Did you guys have any things to share, any advice or industry tips you'd like to share with our audience?
I mean, just to get started, download a cryptocurrency app, a wallet, and just practice, learn how to use it, get familiar with it. It's the best way to get started. Or come see us at the CoinPayments stand right out there. We can educate you a bit, answer any other questions you have.
That's right. We all three are located right there. Please come have a chat if you have any further questions.
Yeah, come and pay us a visit. And clearly, the money of the future is being constructed right in front of you. Take advantage of an opportunity. It's low-cost learning, and it could really become fruitful for you because it's happening.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Aleksi. Thank you, Sean. We envision a future where the people who imagine and build the technology are building it for the societies and mirroring the societies whom we're building it for. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we hope to see you at D60. Cheers.